Morticia and Gomez, they're so into their S&M play that they're into the labor pains. That gets them off.
This is a common theme throughout both movies.
They laugh when others cry.
They're
like
upset?
the Joker.
But they're in love. Maybe if the Joker had a whole sweet, loving, wholesome family, I'd be okay with Joker since he found a way to also be a loving parent.
I think you just sold a show to DC.
And you're welcome.
To all the gooses and to all the gooses and all the ganders and gobbles and gobbledygookly gooses and ghouls and ghosts.
Eat me, white meat. It goes with the Thanksgiving theme of the show that the children put on in the movie we're about to review. This is Lacey.
This is Matt. Which movie?
Addams Family Values, 1993.
Continuing our spooky month of Halloween, October, where we're talking only about the scariest movies of all time.
Addams Family Values.
Like Signs, which was scary, and Beetlejuice.
It was fine.
Not so scary.
Not so scary.
But Addams Family Values.
Terrifying.
Yes. No. Why? I mean, God, it's been a great month, I think. I love that we are doing only silly, spooky movies.
All right.
It's a shame that it's coming to an end soon, but next week, what are we talking about?
Halloween. Not the occasion, but the movie. Probably from the 70s, Matt.
Halloween, 1978.
Told you.
Revisiting a movie. Earlier this month, we broke our rule of not revisiting all the movies we've covered, but we're doing it again now with Halloween.
We make the rules, we break the rules.
The episode that we originally did on Halloween, it was our second ever episode of our podcast, Fluid Bearing Beams.
I recall shitting on it a great deal.
Truly my biggest regret of our entire probably lives. But it was very much the premise of our show, which is you watch a movie, you watch something with someone you respect, like I respect my wife, Lacey, and I want her to appreciate the things I like. And when she didn't like Halloween, it was rubbing off on me. And I was like, I guess it does suck. It is stupid. And then, but it's like one of my 20 favorite movies of all time. I've watched it so many times since then and gotten so mad at both of us, especially you.
I haven't re-listened to that and I refuse. I'm going to pretend it never happened.
Yeah.
I'm a much more, you notice the glasses on my face, right? So I'm smarter now.
That means you're smarter. Yes. Yeah. So you'll see things that you didn't see before.
X-ray.
Plus you've watched it with me since then. And you said, I was wrong. This is great. But we're going to get into it in great detail on our next episode. Halloween 1978, John Carpenter film.
This episode, who's got a fun mug?
Talking about a certain family.
And a fun shirt. That's not real. It's a screen print.
Not a real shirt?
Nope. It's one of those ones you can buy. An FTP.
Like a shirt. Normally you can't buy a shirt.
No, you can buy virtual clothes now. It's very stupid. But you have to wear real clothes underneath them because they're not real clothes. It's very dumb.
Sorry, you're not making a joke?
No, they're as much as actual fashion, like $200 to $500 to get a virtual dress that you're meant to not use while moving in it. You're meant to take a photo in it.
I love that. I love the world.
Do you?
I love everywhere we're going. Everything's great.
You know
what's up, guys? I love all the stuff we talk about.
Oh my God, you're so hyped right now.
Hyped for the Addams Family.
Yes.
All right. Why are we talking about the Addams Family? Tell me why you picked. And first of all, what we're talking about is Addams Family values. We are not going to be talking about the recent Addams Family movies, the Illumination CGI animated films. We're not going to be talking about the show Wednesday. We're just talking about Addams Family values and also, some context that comes from from Addams Family 1991. But okay, so tell me about your history with these movies.
Yes. So I was thinking I might have a sequel bias that I sometimes get with my movies, thinking the second one is better, and then watching them back to back now and realizing I was totally wrong.
Sorry, do you recall doing that another time?
Yes. I can't remember.
Okay, well, Father of the Bride.
Yes.
We did Father of the Bride, and then you said, I think I remembered wrong. Father of the Bride 2 is the one I like. So we watched that one and then did an episode on both movies.
and I think I still agree with that, but I don't know. But I mean, so especially when there's three of something, and I can't think of my example because I definitely had a reason for saying this. Maybe it's Ace Ventura.
Mhm.
I like this. I tend to cling to the second one of something if I really love the first one. And if the second one came out in time for me to still be at an age where I could like devour it. God damn it, I can't think of my...
Was it Austin Powers?
Yes.
Okay.
That's it, because there's three of those, and I love the second and third. And in my head, the first one was too far back. He didn't know himself yet, but I was wrong. I remember the first one being really good.
We did an episode where we covered all three of the movies and both realized only the first one's good. The second and third movies are terrible.
They
the
are
first
very
one's pretty great.
Gimmicky. Hence, my pre-movie prediction on this movie. Anyway, I enjoy the brightness of the second one. You get to be outside more. You get to mix the worlds together. In the first one, you stay inside of the Addams family's home a lot more. And now I don't find it. It's always the parts where someone who isn't used to living there has to go to sleep that would bother me. And then in both movies, there is the outsider who's now infiltrated the Addams home, who lays down for the first time. And they both seem fine, but in my head I'm like, oh, they're so scared, oh, there's so much dust, what if they have allergies? So I found the second one more cheerful and maybe a little more funny. But anyway, I watched it a time.
Did you see it in the theaters?
I really don't know. I mean, I would have been 7, 8.
First one's 91, so you were 7. Second one's 93, you're 9. Did you watch the TV show?
No, I did not. No, and I think I confused it with the Munsters. Honestly, how were they allowed to have both? The dad from the Munsters is so similar to Lurch.
Yeah, we'll talk about. Well, I have some notes on that in the history of how these were developed in tandem, and one was kind of a rip off of the other, but then the other ripped off the rip off.
Interesting.
Yeah, I had never experienced either of these movies except. As we watched Addams Family Values, it did come flooding back to me. I've seen parts of this. Okay. Deep within the recesses of my soul, I remember being a child and seeing the scene where they're at camp and the dad gives the boy Pugsley a cigar and he smokes that cigar. And I was like,
illegal.
No. But yes.
No.
Yes.
It's like when I took my first inhale of a cigarette when I was 11 at a bus stop waiting for school bus, that kind of bus stop.
Or me at age 22.
And then I coughed so hard and knew I had all the cancer. And then I did not take another
Was it like
swig.
that? Was it like that? Yes. What are you talking about?
I think our parents did a really good job of scaring us about cigarettes, is what I'm saying. I took one inhale and thought I was going to die and did not smoke again until I was 14.
Wow, so old.
That was 3 years later, man. That's an eternity in that.
Your life is a Charles Dickens novel.
I believe you mean Norman Rockwell and how wholesome.
Yes, just classic American story. Yeah, you worked in a factory. You ate gruel.
Is that what
smoked cigarettes?
Sold papes on the corner.
I had such a fixation on the dangers of smoking and this kid's smoking, and I feel like physically revolted, but also like, oh fuck, like I'm like, this isn't allowed, but I kind of
I get it. I get what you're saying about that.
I didn't know what movie that was. I was just totally disconnected. There was a lot of other parts of the movie that were not familiar at all to me, but that was the thing I had seen. And everyone our age loves these movies, and it seems everyone says Addams Family Values is the superior of the two.
Okay.
Everyone our age loves Wednesday Addams and loves Christina Ricci.
Yes.
But
guilty.
Because I didn't grow up with them, I did
suspect.
suspect.
Now and then, the classic Christina Ricci vehicle and Casper, all three load-bearing beams of mine. This movie, that, and that.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
But the specific tone, like Beetlejuice, like the weirdness and the grotesquerie and the specificity of the humor, if you come to it, at the ancient age I am of 36, is it going to work for you? Is it going to play? I wasn't sure. So here's what we
Intriguing.
do. We write down our thoughts before we watch so that we can see if we were right. Okay, here's what I wrote. I have no relationship whatsoever with any iteration of the Addams Family. In fact, I don't even know what their deal is. Are they monsters like the Munsters? Do they have supernatural powers? Or are they just like weird stuff? Is it supposed to be a metaphor for something? Anyway, I'm nervous because these movies have universal acclaim from people our age. So all the stuff I just said.
You idiot.
Okay. I want to get it, but maybe like Beetlejuice, you have to grow up with it for it to have a hold on you.
Like me in Star Wars. I think that's fair.
Then I watched the pilot of the Addams Family TV show from 1964, and I wrote this. Update after having just watched the pilot of the 1960 TV show. I talk just like I type. I found it pretty charming, and I am reminded that people have commented on Mr. and Mrs. Addams being horny for each other, and it sure does show up in the episode.
Well, I wrote the word horny so many times in my notes. Very horny for a kid's movie.
Lacey, what
Super
did you
horny.
write?
I love the world of the Addams Family. I love all the weird details. I love how impossibly large the underground part of their house is. I identified with the Wednesday as a teen, but she was too cool for me to even dream of being. I just like that a goth girl could be cool and get respect. She gives zero fucks, as does Morticia, and I wish I could be that way.
So we watched the first movie.
Those were my thoughts. Here's my thoughts on the second one. Before watching it, I'm worried that the first one is better than the second one now that we just watched the first one. I was turned off by all the darkness and gloom in the first one and remember the second one being more bright and cheery. Now that I see the true wholesomeness of the first one, I'm worried the second one is going to seem gimmicky. I nailed that. I think I don't know that I didn't nail it.
You nailed it? No, you didn't.
I feel like I definitely knew what I was worried about.
And you saw it come to life?
No, that's why my comment doesn't make any sense. I don't know that. I guess I thought that they would do the thing of overdoing what was good in the first and in the second one, but I don't know. I think they kind of opened up the world. And
so you ended up thinking the second is still better. You still think the second is the better movie?
I kind of putting them on the same playing ground.
But you picked the second movie because you like it more.
I think there's more laughs.
Mm-hmm. I think the second movie is significantly better than the first movie.
Okay.
Although weirdly, it has bigger problems, but what's good about it is so much better than the first movie. Adding
actors to play off of their weirdness or more. And is that what you like? Did the cast got a lot bigger? My sheet for the cast is...
It's quite a cast. Oh yeah,
so
there's
large.
so many just character
cameos
actors.
And
just feast a buffet for the eyes. John Williams plays at this buffet of character actors.
I was like, that's not the director.
Was it because of so really the main thing is it's just funnier. I did ultimately think we watched the first movie. Hey, I really appreciate this, and I really appreciate that back in the 90s, and I know we're going to be fucking old man yells at clouds as we always are, but back in the 90s, you could make a family film with darkness, with cursing, with grown-up ideas, with adult themes, with romance, with love, with sex.
And in the second one,
they turn all that up to 11, and it's even better.
Absolutely, they do. And for the first time, notice that that there's a joke about Thing masturbating Uncle Fester.
Sure.
So neat.
I like that the second movie takes seriously things that are only joked at in the first movie. Like
what?
These people love murder and they want to kill each other.
They
but
do
they
murder
still love
in
each other.
The first one.
But the second movie, it's more explicit. And it's like, hey, let's literally drop the baby from the roof. Let's repeatedly try to murder and behead the baby. I cannot believe this would never fly today.
You couldn't throw a baby.
You couldn't depict that. You couldn't depict a child drinking vodka. You couldn't depict a child smoking. You couldn't do any of this. I'm so grateful that it happened, but I was feeling appreciation for it and appreciation for the craft and how much joy the actors bring, especially the adults in the first one, the three main leads of the first, but still felt kind of at a remove. Whereas you and our kid who watched it with us were just in love with it. And I was like, I don't really love it. But the second one, I was like, I'm into this.
Oh, yay. You always save it for the pod, so I never know. I never know what you're going to say.
But it does have like a bunch of big issues that it's like, if you, I don't know, I don't know anything,
No,
but
they do.
we'll
I know.
get into them.
Yes, for sure. And I do want to say that it was a smart move swapping Carol Kane in for Mama. Mama's fine in the first one, but she's kind of neither here nor there. But I think she's funny every time I see her in the second one. She's also in Scrooged. She's the fairy, or like maybe Christmas Present or something, and she kicks Bill Murray in the nuts. Why are you looking at me like you don't?
I know who Carol Kane is.
Oh, well, thanks for staring at me and not at all alluding to that. Okay.
You don't think I know Carol Kane,
I
dude?
don't fucking know what your life's like, man.
I had a life before you.
Clearly.
Carol Kane was in it. All right. Well, the Addams Family, the most fucked up family you can imagine.
Bring it. Sorry, you're setting something up.
Who thought up these? What twisted, disgusting mind could dream up these people? You know, every week I feel like our history segments are sprawling out of control and our running times just going up and up and up. And I'm like, next time, not going to happen.
You've been quite the research whore lately.
There's so much on the Addams Family. So I'll try to keep it condensed, but let's meet Charles Addams. Okay. He created the Addams Family, and I always knew that the Addams Family, obviously I knew that there was a TV show, and I knew that TV show was based on comics. If you'd asked me, I would have said they're either like Sunday comics, they're like King Feature Syndicate characters or something, or maybe they're from the Archie universe.
But like a situation where there's a grid of pictures, multiple pictures in a row to tell a short story.
It could have either been Sunday comics like Popeye. It could have been like Archie comics where you have a whole book.
Oh, sure. But I'm saying multiple pictures, right?
Mm-hmm.
Multiple pictures in one sitting to tell a story,
yes,
and a little joke
a linear story. Yes. Or Harvey comics like Richie Rich. But no, they're from the New Yorker.
Posh as hell.
Lacey, how would you characterize New Yorker comics?
Highbrow.
Yeah,
you need to be in
one panel,
in the know.
usually one sentence, and you read it, and
a lot of times political, or just very like I lined up like push my nose up at it, enjoy it.
A lot of jokes about therapy and
crotchety white people jokes, maybe.
Yep. And hey,
New Yorker jokes.
That's what it's been for They're That Way Today. I grabbed the most recent New Yorker comic and like, yep, this could have been published in 1938. It's always the same thing.
This isn't the Addams Family.
No. Okay, so Charles Addams. Let's meet the man.
Look at him.
Charles Addams, aka Chaz.
I'm sorry, is that a sex dummy? There's a picture of him with a
Morticia.
A Morticia-like
doll.
Half woman. Okay.
Chaz was born in 1912. He started working as a New Yorker cartoonist in 1932. He continued working there until his death in 1988.
And beyond.
And he loved the macabre. Mm-mm. That's the word that's always associated with him and with the Addams Family, is the macabre.
Okay.
So pertaining to death, he liked joking about death. He liked being interested, having death be a presence in life. He's kind of a Wednesday Addams character himself.
Yeah, kind of not Delia Dietz. Help me out here. Lydia Dietz.
Yes.
Kind of a Lydia Dietz.
And he was a socialite and a playboy. He dated lots of famous women, including Greta Garbo, which blew my mind. Also Joan Fontaine and Jackie Kennedy the year after John F. Kennedy died.
Too soon.
This is
Do you, boo?
A time where, you can be a cartoonist, but also be like a rich New York socialite. But
so
I guess
it's strictly cartooned.
That's what he did for a living.
And snatched the poon.
It's what he did. Both
old school pussy posse.
Of one, though.
Pussy posse of one.
Just him and his drawings.
Wow.
But I guess if you're doing it for the New Yorker, He's also, I think, a way, if you said, I like the work of Charles Addams, that could signal like, I'm highbrow, but I'm a little bit strange myself.
I might be kinky in the bedroom. I tried to do boudoir.
In the boudoir.
I tried to do boudoir with bedroom. I'm sorry.
Alfred Hitchcock was a fan. Salvador Dali was a fan. There is a Cary Grant in North by Northwest mentions Charles Addams by name. This was a very famous man. Yes. He was married to 3 consecutive women who physically resembled Morticia Addams. All of
Do
them.
you think he cut their hair?
Like Jimmy Stewart and.
That's what I'm saying. Is it a chicken or the egg?
I think it's an egg because he invents Morticia first and then seems to seek out women who look like Morticia. He also seemed to cultivate. He wanted to cultivate the idea that he was weird and like lived in a creepy castle and like had tombstones for tables and stuff. But his biographer said this was an act. He was a very like normal guy.
Got it. Well, that explains the wholesomeness of the Addams Family at its core.
Yeah. Yeah, he said
they're lovable.
He said the only weird thing about me is I'm the only writer who had a nice childhood. So his second wife used weird legal maneuvers to secure the rights to his characters. They were married for 2 years. They get divorced in 1956, and she ends up with the rights to the characters.
Rude.
So the next, 10 years later, when they're trying to make the show, they have to buy her off to be able to get his characters back. Okay, but so he creates these guys in the New Yorker magazine. 1938, we meet the Addams Family for the first time. Of course, they're not called that. Indeed, they don't have names until the TV show. They're unnamed. They're just Mr. Addams's funny characters. So over, 20 years, there's only 58 total cartoons. He published 1,300 total cartoons, but only 58 of them are the Addamses. They're kind of like darkly satirical. You get a lot of jokes about the children poisoning each other, and a lot of jokes that turn up in the movie. A lot of jokes that didn't carry over to the TV show. A lot more emphasis on death, on fascination with witchcraft and dark magic.
You can really see the influence for the latest cartoon that our kid likes from the makers of Futurama. Help me out here.
Oh, Disenchanted?
Yeah, look at the mother. Look at the tentacles on her dress here.
Yeah, you're right.
That is
like
I mean, look, it's
Dagmar?
Like Dagmar.
In appearance, they are more sort of grotesque than they appear in the TV show. The TV show starts in 1964. Now, the same time, CBS is developing. CBS is developing the Munsters, and the creator of the Munsters said, like openly later said, "Yeah, we were just ripping off the Addams Family cartoons, with our show."
Okay,
so,
but was not aware of the show coming out. It was just a coincidence that they both.
That's right.
Okay,
so ABC.
What do you call that? Twin movies? Twin shows?
Yes. There's something in the air. It's the time is now for. This was a period of like the high concept TV show, like My Mother, the Car.
Wow.
I think maybe it's a little past Bewitched, but I Dream of Genies out there, Green Acres.
Right. Super fish out of water. There's always a straight man with a weirdo.
And there's some kind of supernatural element or some sort of magical
Not Green Acres, but
thing.
Oh, wait. Mr. Ed, Talking Horse.
Yeah. Yeah. TV was weird. Mm-hmm. So ABC wants to develop a TV show, and they secure the rights to Addams's cartoons. So he finally has to give them names. Although it turns out Morticia and Wednesday were named in officially licensed dolls that came out the previous year. So it's not totally accurate to say the TV show named all the characters.
Okay.
But Charles Addams is working with a man named David Levy, who's developing the show. They soften the family. They emphasize the comedy and the zaniness over the morbidity, and the characters are less weird looking. It does become a little more wholesome, a little less weird. They work together on naming the characters. I think this is where Gomez becomes like canonically a man of Latino heritage.
Okay.
Whereas he wasn't in the cartoons. But
right.
The actor they cast is Latino, so that becomes an intrinsic part of his character. The TV show it's a hit. It's not a giant hit. It finishes 23rd in the ratings for the year. If any TV show got the ratings today that it got, it would be the biggest thing in a decade. But no.
Okay.
The Munsters did finish ahead of it, but both of them only ran for 2 years. 64 total episodes of the Addams Family TV show. But this show introduced the family, gave a lot of the characteristics, and probably most famously the theme song.
Totally. And can I ask, are Thing and or It
Yep.
in the show?
Both in the show.
Okay. Flora and fauna.
I believe so.
Okay. Oh, any of the any of the outer world characters? Not there aren't reoccurring ones in the two movies, but I wondered, does he have an attorney? Are they rich? Do they explain?
They're rich.
Okay.
I don't know how
they would have to be, because they can't send either of them to work. They need to just be independently wealthy so that they can just be in their house and be kooky all the time.
This is some sort of heir or some sort of great family of great wealth. The first episode has like the school truancy officer comes to interview the family because he says your kids need to be in school, and this is like our introduction to the world, because he goes and meets each member of the family and is like, "Bah!" Lots of double takes. Oh, okay, this is normal. You're throwing swords at each other. Swords at each other. The kids then go to school, and then they come home and tell their parents what they learned, and they're like, hey, we read a story about a knight who slays a dragon, and the parents freak out like, that poor innocent dragon. Yeah, it's charming. It's sweet. That's the Addams Family TV show. So what next? Well,
that wig. This poor woman in that wig. Looking at the TV show pictures here. We will put those on screen. Podcast. Go look at YouTube, please. Thank you so much.
There is a Hanna-Barbera animated series in 1973. This follows an appearance by the Addams Family on a Scooby-Doo episode in 1972 that was very well received. But this show did change the relationship of the family. Uncle Fester in the series, in the live action show, was Morticia's uncle. And then in the animated show, he is instead Gomez's brother. And that then becomes the like canon relationship.
It's funny that they're trying to show a family that's so other, that's so weird, so not the norm. And so, of course, there's a matriarch and not a patriarch. I mean, the mom seems to have always been a significant pants wearer, even though she's got very tight dresses. But how unique to make a wife taller than the husband. Can you think of any other time where this happened, except for maybe like the honeymooners? And I don't even think then. I just think of that man as short.
No, I can't.
He's not.
I can't.
So strange.
They're being horny for each other, or just they're
right.
A married couple who have a good relationship, who love each other and are partners,
are in the house all day long together, and that's not boring.
Mm-hmm. Was sort of revolutionary. If you see quotes from people who worked on the movie who talk about their relationship to the show growing up or to the cartoons, they always point that out. They're like, this is my only notion that I like a married couple, because married couples in TV you're driving each other crazy. If you're married, you're supposed to hate each other. You're supposed to be bitter enemies.
Yeah, it's not until like divorce becomes something universally accepted that you can start having loving couples and shows, because that's people's outlet. Like, people are miserable. They want to see miserable people reflected. It's going to seem other to have such loving. I mean, it was definitely, it wasn't the rule. It was the exception. I know things.
You do?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Don't look it up.
Fine.
Okay.
All right. The original cast reunited for a special in 1977, including the children from the show who are now adults. So they're there as their adult selves, but now the family has a Wednesday Jr. and a Pugsley Jr.
Okay.
All right. So then we get to our movies.
Thank Jesus.
1991 and 1993. It all started with Scott Rudin. I feel like Scott Rudin is haunting our podcast, but we do talk about movies from the 90s a lot, and he was everywhere at the time. So he produced The First Wives Club, Clueless, South Park movies we've talked about before. And then, he's the face of Mean 2, of abusive bosses who are abusive to their subordinates.
Oh, Mean 2 instead of Me Too. You always know the words.
I'm a word guy.
Now you got your finger inside of a pulse.
He was, at the time, the head of production at Fox, and he pitched the idea, let's do an Addams Family movie, but let's adapt the original New Yorker cartoons rather than the cheesy sitcom. They like this idea, but they find out that a company called Orion Pictures owns the movie rights, and they want to develop their own movie. But then Scott Rudin leaves Fox, and Orion brings him aboard to take control of the Addams Family project.
That seems like cheating. What the hell? I don't know. It seems like insider trading. No,
I don't know. Maybe that stuff happens all the time. But I don't know.
All right then.
Probably not right. Who knows?
I don't know.
We're not Hollywood insiders.
Mm-hmm.
they write a script. The script is written by Larry Wilson, who we talked about on Beetlejuice, and his partner Caroline Thompson, and then gets rewritten by Paul Rudnick. It seems like Paul Rudnick is maybe the dominant voice on both of these movies.
Hello.
They're trying to find a director. What weird twisted mind could helm this project?
I'm glad they didn't go with Tim Burton for this. I'm sorry, Tim Burton.
Tim Burton.
That's who's on the screen. I feel like I can predict where the weirdness would go, and it wouldn't curve back to the wholesomeness that I find so endearing.
Maybe, but he would have done. I think he would have done a good job, especially at the time. Because he was very comedy focused. These movies are very funny. I think they're pretty well directed. They probably would have been a little bit different, but it makes sense both in terms of the subject matter and it being a comedy. It makes sense. They're basically going to do a Beetlejuice movie.
It makes complete sense.
Yes. I cannot find the reason that he, didn't come aboard, but he was so busy at the time. And he is basically linked to the Addams Family projects for the entirety of the rest of time. For a while, they were developing a stop motion animated movie that he was going to direct. That never happened, but of course now he is in charge of Wednesday on Netflix.
Right. Did he consult on this?
No
That
involvement.
is interesting. It feels like he birthed this.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't even seem like they need him to direct it. It's like, no, we've already Tim Burton this up.
Yeah, they don't even need him. So enter Barry
Fester.
Sonnenfeld.
Oh, okay.
Barry Sonnenfeld, the director of both Addams Family and Addams Family Values. This was his first movie as a director. Before that, he was very accomplished director of photography, worked with the Coen brothers a lot, also worked on Big and When Harry Met Sally.
Ooh.
So after this, he goes on to direct Addams Family Values, Get Shorty, Men in Black, and its sequels, past episode of Load Bearing Beam's Wild Wild West.
Hell yeah.
Which seems to put him in movie jail, because after that, his credits are RV and 9 Lives.
God, why do they do Wild Wild West so dirty? Because
do we like Wild Wild West? I don't remember.
I've reset. No, we didn't. No.
I think you liked it on our episode, though. And I didn't mind it.
You didn't mind it. It's just they had a hard time figuring out who was supposed to be the straight man, who was supposed to be the funny man. The chemistry wasn't completely there between Will Smith and Kevin Kline.
Really?
They're both funny, but they're not a perfect pair. The way, tell me Men in Black man's name, please.
Tommy Lee Jones.
There you go. Him and Will Smith are just kind of, you can't beat that pairing.
But Sonnenfeld, his 90s were, he was red hot for a while. I'm trying to pick up on what the thread is. Addams Family and Men in Black make a lot of sense, but Get Shorty is just sort of funny gangsters and character actors and movie stars.
I almost feel like just riding a mobster wave on that one. Probably it's just the timing. Mob stuff was so big.
Recently he's just very busy on like a series of unfortunate events on Netflix and The Tick and lots of TV, a lot of work for him, for old Barry. So, who is Barry Sonnenfeld? He is a self-described neurotic. His autobiography is called Barry Sonnenfeld, Call Your Mother, Memoirs of a Neurotic Filmmaker. He threw up on the first day on set of Blood Simple for the Coen brothers, working for the Coen brothers. And he had a panic attack and passed out 3 weeks into filming Addams Family. And Scott Rudin, the producer, was going to shut down the production for the day, but Barry Sonnenfeld said, if we have to stop every time I faint or start to cry, we'll never get this movie done.
My goodness.
This movie, Addams Family 1, was a very troubled production. They lost their original director of photography, Owen Roisman. He quit with 3 months left in the shoot, and he was replaced by a man named Gail Tattersfall. But then Gail was rushed off to the hospital with weeks remaining, and he didn't return. So Barry Sonnenfeld had to just take over the cinematography. And this nearly drove him to another breakdown, having to be the director and also the cinematographer. Also, Raul Julia, the actor who plays Gomez, he burst a blood vessel in his eye. Barry Sonnenfeld's wife got hospitalized, and he had to start splitting his time between helping her in the hospital and, working on the movie. And most dramatically is Orion Pictures, which was making the film, basically went bankrupt during the middle of production. Orion is this interesting story in Hollywood history where 1990, they produced Dances with Wolves. 1991, they produced Silence of the Lambs. So they win back-to-back Best Pictures, but everything else they produce is crap and loses them a lot of money, and they're hemorrhaging money. And during production of this, they don't have enough money to finish the movie, but also the Addams Family movie is like their only asset they have left. So they sell it to Paramount, who come aboard. You know, you think about like things like these, like, you know, these studios, they all seem like they're interchangeable, but they all have their own distinct cultures and
they all have their own people at the helm.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that's got to change. I mean, it's just like every 4 years.
And
in the White House, I couldn't get my thought out. Sorry, not even a good analogy. Continue.
Well, and their reputation was they were friendly to filmmakers. They'll take flyers on people, like Barry Sonnenfeld as a first-time director. And he said it was very difficult to go from Orion to Paramount, which had a completely different culture. And so there's this interview with him in Variety from 2021. And he said that So Paramount takes over halfway through the making of this movie, and the head of Paramount screens what they have so far. And he says, this is uncuttable and unreleasable. And Barry, this is what he says, quote, "The whole second half of the shoot, we were working for a studio that thought we were uncuttable and unreleasable. So things got more difficult. They stopped letting us have bottled water on the set, not for environmental reasons, but to cut down costs. It was not a well-loved project while we were making it, which made it that much harder as a first-time director. I showed my director's cut to executives at Paramount, and there was not a single laugh. Then I was called into the office about 20 minutes later after they had discussed everything, and everyone was there except Stanley. Stanley was Stanley Jaffe, the head of Paramount. Stanley, and they were hugging me and clapping. I said, what are you doing?
What?
I was in that screening room. There was not a single laugh. They told me that since Stanley wasn't laughing, they couldn't." End quote.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa. Mean too.
Especially, you know, you're a guy like him who's always constantly having panic attacks and
unreliable narrator.
True. Yeah.
In a way, you know, I mean, if he was nervous about something, okay, call the press.
The movie was slightly over budget, but only by $5 million. It still only ended up costing $30 million. Test screenings were an issue. They, most notably, the test audiences hated the Mamushka sequence.
I love that.
And so they cut it way down.
Okay, well, I don't think I'd like a lot more of it.
Because there is an edition that you can buy on Blu-ray called the More Mamushka edition.
Thank you. I had just enough.
But it's a hit. It's an enormous hit.
Oh, wow.
Actually, $114 million at the domestic box office gross. If you adjust it for inflation, it made $434 million worldwide. It was the seventh biggest movie of 1991.
Let's go.
They're going to make a sequel. But before they decide to greenlight a sequel, Paramount approaches Barry Sonnenfeld about making Forrest Gump, which they had acquired. They had acquired the book Forrest Gump.
Mm-hmm.
And he had a great relationship with Tom Hanks because he was the DP on Big. Yes. And so he's the one who brought Tom Hanks on to Forrest Gump. And then he's basically, once they decide to move forward with Addams Family Values, they say you have to decide between Forrest Gump and Addams Family Values.
What?
And he said it took him, this basically haunted him for years afterward, that he could have made Forrest Gump. And Addams Family Values was not a big hit, and it was a disappointment. But he did say he eventually came to peace with it because he avoided seeing Forrest Gump for a long time, and then finally made himself watch it and realized I would never have made the movie this way. So
yeah,
I you know,
so whatever like success, right? Whatever success it had, it would have had nothing to do with what my success would have been.
I would have made a totally different movie. Who knows what would have happened? Yeah. So they're moving forward with the sequel. They're bringing back everybody. They have Paul Rudnick writing the script for Addams Family Values, and he wants to be more political this time around. The title comes from a speech that the Vice President Dan Quayle was giving, where he talked about the Los Angeles riots of 1992 and blamed them on a decline of family values. Jesus. This is around the time that George Bush said that America needs to be more like the Waltons and less like the Simpsons. So
fingering the pulse as usual.
They wanted a movie that's more political, and they want more of a featuring role for Christina Ricci.
Yeah. What did she done anything? Did she do Cat? Nope. She's still too young. God, I don't even know. Was there anything between the two?
I don't know if there was anything between the two. I have a slide on her later, but
Great.
she was in the movie. What is it called? What is Mermaid with Winona Ryder? Mermaids. She's Winona Ryder's little sister.
Okay.
And then she gets cast as Wednesday, and then makes the sequel. And after that is Casper and Now and Then and all of that.
Yeah, she was quite the Tiger Beat, I'm assuming. And that's a magazine of how you keep up with your famous people of the time who are under 18. Tiger Beat.
The production's much smoother this time around. Everybody's happy, has big hopes and expectations. The budget is double the previous one. Judith Molina is replaced as Grandmama Addams. She's replaced with Carol Kane. The reason given is that
Carol Kane rocks.
More demanding role.
Yeah.
Physically demanding role.
Oh.
And Carol Kane had worked with all the other adults in the past. With Christopher Lloyd on Taxi and with Angelica Houston and Raoul.
Sounds like a load of bullshit. Carol Kane's just better.
I prefer the first one.
What?
I prefer the first Grandma.
So funny.
It's not a disaster. It makes $48 million, but that's like, it barely makes back its budget. You know, it's made tons of money since then on home video and everything, but this sequels didn't do great back in the day, and they never make a third movie. They never discuss making a third movie. All right, let's just spotlight a few of the actors. I feel like, you know, we've talked plenty about Angelica Houston and Christopher Lloyd in the past. So let's talk about Raul Julia, who plays Gomez.
It feels like he kind of falls off the map after these movies.
Well, he dies.
He plummeted off the map.
He was suffering from stomach cancer even during the first movie.
Oh.
He died 1 year after the second movie. And he was really struggling during the filming of the second movie.
Oh, that's really, they'll leave it to you. Make me sad.
So here's what Barry Sonnenfeld said about casting Angelica Houston and Raul Julia. Quote, I felt the IP, which was Charles Addams' drawings, was going to be our sales point. For a while, Orion really wanted Cher to play Morticia. I
swear to God, they always interchange these tall, exotic women with larger than your average, conventional, attractive person nose size. Jesus Christ. This is the second time.
I just listened to our episode on the witches.
Yeah.
Where we have a 15-minute conversation about this and you yell at me.
Right. Because it's the same people. It's the same people that they're going to switch in and out. Yes.
But they're always going for the same roles and they're always playing witches. Of Eastwick or just witches.
She's not a witch here.
I know she's not a witch, but she's the witch in the witches.
Fine. Continue.
So Raul Julia, born in 1940 in San Juan, Puerto Rico, basically legendary stage actor, nominated for many Tonys, and then he won a posthumous Emmy and Golden Globe for the HBO film The Burning Season. But he died 1 year after Addams Family Values at age 54. And he is wonderful in these movies.
Yes.
Feel like
so much energy.
One thing that I knock Addams Family Values some points for is Morticia and Gomez really get sidelined. I felt kind of like it's like Bob's Burgers. Like you think it's the show you're making about these two parents who run this burger restaurant, but then they really are only interested in the kids in their junior high adventures.
That's because you only watch Bob's Burgers half the time. But yeah, fine.
I miss the parents in the second movie, especially.
Yeah, it takes a hell of a person to match Christopher Lloyd's energy, and I think this actor does a good job.
He really does,
they are equally enthusiastic about the bullshit they get up to.
And then Christina Ricci, who is 11 during the first Addams Family and 13 during the second Addams Family, and after this movie, she has Casper, she has Sleepy Hollow and That Darn Cat, Monster and Speed Racer, and recently she's kind of a little bit of a comeback in Yellow Jackets, and she is on the Wednesday show, not playing Wednesday, but she's on it.
Okay.
That's enough background.
Okay.
Let's talk about the movie, Addams Family Values. All right, let's talk about Addams Family Values in great detail.
Ow, I hit myself in the can.
Hey, they didn't play the theme song in the first movie. They played the MC Hammer remix
Do they? They don't play the theme song in the second one either.
They do. They play it.
Lies.
I mean, I think instrumental versions recur throughout the movie in the score, and
Both
when
movies.
I don't remember it in the first.
Yeah, I was thinking the Mamushka, but I'm switching it with the date that the two men go on with the two ladies in the second movie.
Yeah.
Right. So.
And
right.
I think I remember something about them not wanting to include it in the movie because they wanted to disassociate the movie from the TV show, but like fans said, "Where's the song?"
Well, I mean, MC Hammer makes an appearance on the score 3 different times on the first one, so I always liked his. In fact, I looked for it when I made a TikTok about this episode coming up. I looked for his version of the Addams Family, and I didn't find it.
You didn't find it?
I didn't look that hard.
Oh, I'll help you.
No.
I know where to look.
It's okay.
I know where to find music.
It's a TikTok sound. I have to find it in their library.
Oh, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that's correct. Boomer.
Were you, did you think I would like this movie? Either of these movies?
No.
No?
No, I have such a low batting average. I pick shit. Maybe it's better than I think it is if I've really looked at it all in a row, but I don't feel like I don't trust my memory.
I've liked everything you've picked in our current season other than the First Wives Club.
You're a monster.
And even that wasn't that bad. But no, your batting average is good.
Okay. Oh, okay.
But you were, I don't know. It's a very strange movie, Addams Family Values. It's very weird.
Yeah. And super horny. Like over the top, like several horny characters.
Subject of this movie?
The impropriety.
The subject of this movie? Horny.
Oh.
That's Ray Horny.
Hashtaggy.
So the film opens on the moon. Uncle Fester. He's in heat. He's howling.
Oh.
He's randy.
I did not at all pick up on heat. I picked up on sadness. I thought he was sad howling.
He's sorny. Sad and wants to fuck,
Melancholy.
but maybe doesn't even know that that's what he wants. But he
doesn't know what
yearns.
to do with his wiener yet.
Right.
Just knows it wants something. It's pointing around the room.
Let's
But
assume
to what?
he's lived. Wait, hold on. He's lived for the past however many years as a different person, and now he's living with his brother and his sister-in-law who have an ideal marriage, and he's like, I want some of that.
So we're jumping straight into the second one. I mean, I see that. So we don't need to say that in the first one we find out he had amnesia and was discovered in the Bermuda Triangle. So he lost a whole 2 decades of his life, it looks like.
No, we don't have to say that.
Okay, well, we won't say it.
We watched the movie together and everybody's like, oh, that was fun. Yeah, okay. And then went our separate ways. And I had to open Wikipedia and find out, wait, so was he really the brother or not? It is not clear at all in the movie.
They go by that part so fast. It's always just, okay, that works.
It was tacked on, and the filmmakers were indecisive about whether they wanted him to be the real Fester or a fake Fester. And apparently it was Christina Ricci's suggestion that he should be the real Fester.
I think it was the right way to go.
It feels for this movie, yes. But in that story, I think I would have preferred if it were about an outsider coming in and realizing I love this family. I want to be part of this family.
Oh, that's beautiful too. But I guess they needed him to know how to do the mamushka.
That's right.
Okay.
But
that Christina, she knows what she's doing.
Yeah, he's in heat. And then we check in with the rest of the family, and these folks. These kids are depraved. They're burying a beloved pet. And you're like, well, that's nice. We've all been there. But then the pet meows. And
we've all been there.
And Wednesday says, shut up, you cat. I'm burying you. Pugsley is played by Jimmy Workman. What do you think of Pugsley?
Well, I know he disappeared after this.
Okay. What do you think of?
Oh, not as the person. He's fine. He's never seemed neither here nor there. He's not supposed to be. He's just something for Wednesday to play off of, and I think he does a fine job of that. I think he's cute. I think he's a kid. I like his turkey performance. When they give him something to do, he's good at it. But he's just. I don't think they needed another star adjacent to Wednesday.
I think they would have liked one. It'd be nice. Come on, you get this superstar performance from one kid and the other's just a pud. A
A
pug.
pug. Well, what's the deal with that? Okay.
Oh,
I thought
don't
it
know
was a
what the deal was.
choice.
I don't know. I just think this kid. I feel bad criticizing child actors. He's doing a workman-like job, but he doesn't really add
Yeah,
anything.
his last name. I was like, yeah, he
He
looks
is
like someone
completely
you hired.
replaceable. And in this movie, they bring in David Krumholtz for Christina Ricci to work off of because this guy's not giving her anything.
Really?
I'm not saying the filmmaker said we got to bring someone in with some heat. It's just you watch the movie and I see she seems so iconic and he seems like such a nothing.
Oh yes, and I guess I didn't recall them giving him any great lines, but I guess it's what you do with them, not what they give you, huh? But yeah, but man, am I glad they brought in David. I love him. I love him in everything he's in.
Mm-hmm. Like what? Slums of Beverly Hills.
Slums of Beverly Hills.
That's where we
He's
last
also
in
the elf in the Santa Claus.
Bernard.
I want to say he's some sort of rogue.
Some sort of rogue. Some sort of
he
rogue
might
one.
be in a Star War.
In a Star War? I don't remember.
No, he's not Blaze.
I don't think he was in Rogue One, but
if he was, he'd be the guy with the other robot. That's the one I'm thinking of.
No, that's Diego Luna.
Totally. Diego Luna. My
Yeah.
favorite man. Those are
No,
the
but
same person.
there's been so much Star Wars streaming
Oh, no.
bullshit that I haven't watched now. He
Please
could be
release
in-
yourself
Okay.
from this. That I knew not what I was speaking
But
of.
he was in Oppenheimer this year.
Yes,
and he was
Oppenheimer.
fantastic.
I knew that. He's always good. He's a good dramedy actor.
But just by opening with these kids are happily burying an alive animal, I think is this movie's signal like we're going to go even harder this time around into the depravity. So what happens next?
Okay, so the Morticia goes into labor and they have a waiting room scene with the two kids in the waiting room waiting for the mom to give birth, and it reminded me of the exact conversation that our kid had with your sister, who's like 8. You're like 8 years apart, and when we had them describe.
I don't remember this.
Okay, we were at a restaurant, and your sister is saying that when a mama has when two people are in love and then they kiss and then there's a seed and then it goes into the belly and then they have a child. This is just like totally, she's way too old to be saying these things. And then our kid, who is way too young to be saying this, is like, if it's one kid, it comes out of the vagina. And if it's two kids, one comes out of the butt. And then that's all she said. And they're just like, all right, well, two very different takes on how anatomy and baby giving.
But both equally
birthing,
true.
Both the seed, yeah. Neither were wrong. Anyway, what's to say except for that, an Addams is born. It's an Addams.
Well, Morticia and Gomez, they're so into their S&M play that they're into the labor pains. That gets them off.
This is a common theme throughout both movies, is that anything that the outside world would like to do to them, or any common pain that we might get as normies in our outside world, they turn it into pleasure. So the normal world does affect them and give them pain in completely different ways, but they flip the script.
They're sick fucks. They laugh when others cry. They're
you
like
upset?
the Joker.
Okay. But they're in love. Maybe if the Joker had a whole sweet, loving, wholesome family, I'd be okay with Joker, since he found a way to also be a loving parent.
I think you just sold a show to DC.
And you're welcome. Okay, I have always had trouble with the handling of this actual baby. They use a real baby. I don't know what the rules are anymore.
Because
I do know that this is a female baby and it's a twin. So I know it was two babies rotated in and out of this movie. Fine. But they manhandle this baby.
Yeah. I do have in my notes, Lacey, were you okay with all this baby peril?
As a kid, much, much more okay. And it didn't totally bother me now, but I'm not thinking of a real life scenario. I'm not thinking of this as being real and that's hurting me. I'm thinking of that child actually exists and is being tussled about by child actors. What mother, what parent, what dad, what anybody would be like, yeah, no, Christina Ricci.
Yeah,
throw this about.
Put my baby on the guillotine.
Right, roughly.
It's definitely a real guillotine. They named the baby Pubert. Pubert is the baby's name.
Mm-hmm.
This was what Charles Addams wanted to name the Pugsley on the 1960 series, and the network was like, "You pervert! We can't say that. Can't say that word, Pubert." So they have it here. I am just so grateful to this movie for like, again, going that hard,
Right.
for having the older kids stand 100 feet in the air and dangle the baby and try to kill it.
Not dangle it. They throw it. The dad catches.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. They are all agile, nimble. That the entire family has this in common. Quick on their feet, good with swords. None of them fall. None of them are clumsy. They're all elegant, including when they're going to accidentally catch their baby from.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, of course, Gomez specifically is like the
knife thrower, the sword tosser.
well, also a fencer. I mean, he just is, and dancer. He's very polished. But all of them are. Even the kid, even Pugsley, who you might think would be a doofus or they'd give him that role, he does nothing embarrassing.
Yeah, also have some sort of superpower that, like, even if you're a baby, you defend yourself.
Okay,
you can stop a blade
Pubert,
from.
But sure.
I'm saying if you're an Addams, you get a superpower.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Like they don't lean in hard to like these people can do supernatural things. They just seem crazy gifted with hand-eye coordination and strength. But that doesn't need to be supernatural. And I like that. I don't think they need that element.
Yeah, so the kids really don't like the baby, or at least it's not that they're jealous. They just feel like the natural order is thrown off by this baby, by Pubert, and we got to get rid of him because we're Addamses. That's what we do, guys. We're so fucked up. We try to kill each other, even adorable little babies. And now Christopher Lloyd, Uncle Fester, is like, that's just what we do. Remember, I was always doing it to my brother. Yeah. This performance.
There is no one like Gomez. He is ready to go no matter who just randomly throws some stuff at him. His wife throws some horn at him and he's like, fuck yes, I'm horny. And his brother throws some this let's do some acrobatic hugging, and he's like, yeah, let's do that. He matches Christopher Lloyd's energy so well. You pointed out, though, and I'm watching this clip and now knowing this for the first time, you pointed out that this actor had stomach cancer and was struggling with it during the filming of the second one. The dad, Raul. What's his name?
Raul Julia.
Yeah. And I have always noticed that they give him a lot more reasons to sit in this movie. And so now that I know that he was, he dies a year later after the filming of this and then he was having a hard time, I just noticed it in this scene. He was just so acrobatic and athletic and always standing and so much energy in the first one.
Yeah.
And he still can match energy, but they give him a lot of reasons to be kind of a little more chill. He's in bed because he's depressed. Then he's in a chair because he's depressed outside of the house. There's just all these moments.
It's true. And he does have a reduced role in this one. And so does Morticia. And maybe it was by design.
Right. You really can't have one without the other. In fact, they do give Morticia things to do outside of Gomez, which is a departure from the first one. I mean, not that she's never alone. She's, she does things by herself in the house, but outings and such seem to be a two-person thing, but not in the second one.
Christopher Lloyd, let's sing his praises for both
amazing.
of these performances, which I had never seen these movies. And I was like, these are just as iconic as Back to the Future, I think. Like,
oh, yeah.
He's bringing so.
And it's different.
Yeah.
They're completely different and completely neurotic and completely eccentric and high. I mean, 211.
He works himself up so much and answers just with just breathing. Brother.
Well, but in another movie we might do for me one day is Dennis the Menace. And his performance in that is another iconic.
He's in that?
Yes, he's a mischievous hobo or whatever a trickster, a con man. And he's something in that one too.
And then when we do the Page Master, for me, we'll see his fourth equally iconic role as the Page Master.
Well, hello. I have not seen that. Well, are we going to talk about how Morticia always has just a strip of light across her eyes in every scene?
Oh, I didn't know that.
You usually know things about cinematography.
Well, I can't know everything.
And lighting choices. And who likes flashlights and lights in their movies?
I'm a fraud.
You are.
The kids and their antics, they're getting in the way of their parents who just want to fuck.
Right. And explore the dark arts.
Yes. They dress Pubert up as Marie Antoinette. They're going to behead him in a guillotine. He just puts up his little baby fingers and stops it. So Uncle Fester was right. This is just what Addams children do. They try to kill each other and they don't succeed, but it's an important part of growing up. We have like the parents are talking, and in the background you hear the kids. They're in the house, and one fires a gun, and then Wednesday's like, "You missed." So they're literally just shooting each other with guns.
Well, and and Pugsley is getting a bit of a break. He was the target of all of Wednesday's violence in the first movie, so he's probably happy to have a baby to throw around and shoot with a gun.
Morticia, she wants more time to have wild sex with her husband, and also, I guess, to like worshiping Satan or whatever it is she wants to do. So they decide we need a nanny. So they interview nannies. They interview Cynthia Nixon nanny. They interview a whole assortment of nannies. It becomes Mary Poppins for 2 minutes, where the kids frighten away all the prospects, and then eventually they meet their match in Joan Cusack as Debbie Jelinski.
One of my favorite Joan Cusack performances. I fucking love her in this.
Yeah, I think this is my favorite
character.
My favorite performance of hers. Maybe broadcast news, but she's just more prominent in this movie.
You haven't seen her in Shameless. It's amazing. But yeah, this is a good second. So yeah, it's not your fault.
I mean, I'm just talking about movies.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I forgot that our podcast is just about whatever. We talk about other things sometimes. Dickhole. All right, go on. Debbie.
She's very good. Yeah. And Uncle Fester is immediately smitten with her.
I never think of her as a sex bomb, but I forget she plays this role, and I just don't think my Joan Cusack doesn't go back super into her earlier career. That's what it is.
No, but she's usually playing like funny sidekick or assistant or
sister.
Yeah, this is her getting to play a bombshell, and she does it very, very well.
Yes,
and
she's barely Marilyn Monroe. Even has the beauty mark. Wait, am I mushing Cindy Crawford and Marilyn Monroe together? I think that I am.
They talk about, this is where they announced they've named their baby Pubert. They went through all the names, all the usual names, like Lucifer, but also Benito and Mao. So it's like, so they don't just love like Hot Topic stuff. They also love actual dictators.
Right. They like actual evil.
Yes. Like they would have liked the killing fields of Cambodia. So like, shouldn't Wednesday like the camp that she ultimately ends up then? Because she goes to a Nazi camp.
Do you feel she's in a Nazi camp? Yeah, but if she's on the wrong side of it.
Oh, but she should appreciate it as a fan of evil. Okay,
well, there's plenty. The harder they go into this, but there still need to be a loving family, the more there are cracks to see.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this movie, is more entertaining and I like it the best, but it is the movie where I'm like, hey, you're not being... Hey, that wasn't Addamsy.
You might be pushing it a little too far, and if you pushed it a little bit further, the whole thing would collapse. Yep. Like, wait a minute, they like Benito Mussolini?
Right, they like when their own husband is dying?
Yeah.
They like when,
my husband's dying. This is great.
This is great.
I love it.
Right. Well, but that it does go with the S&M thing, right? Because the whole point is to push it to the limit, not over the limit. And so, I mean, I guess it fits. The torture is not, the point of torture is not to die or to kill. So it would make sense that death would still be upsetting, except for when they love death. Like they're burying people alive and pets. And, yeah.
Cooking people alive.
Cooking.
Yeah.
Boiling heads.
So tell me about...
Wait, pouring boiling water on heads. Sorry.
Tell me about Debbie and her scheme.
Okay, well, they allude that she's some sort of Black Widow killer woman who finds the most desperate but most wealthy bachelors and seduces them and marries them. And they do this kind of in a lazy way. They show you how she is that because she's watching a very believable 90s show about, killers and unsolved mysteries and whatever when she's in her room. So she is a live-in nanny. She's in the room for the first night. We learned that, this must be this person. But in this clip on this fake TV show, she goes by Belinda and Juanita or whatever. They name her these different names. They give 2 or 3 instances. This is supposedly her 4th. Mm-hmm. But then when she goes to kill Fester with the radio later, she calls this, I call this number 428. And then
I'll tell you what that is in reference to.
Oh.
Because this joke confused me. I wrote it down. I wrote question mark And
Right.
then I watched it again. She says, I bought this cassette. It's 5,000 love melodies. And he's like, which one is this? Or what do you call this? Referring to the song that's playing. And she says, number 438.
Got it. Okay.
And she's so unromantic about it that she's just referring to it by the track number.
That works for me. But the thing about her having different names, at the end, whenever she's got everybody all tied up and she wants to go through how this is all just a big hardship on her. Well, Debbie, why don't you not kill me, Debbie, or whatever she's going through. She only says the name Debbie. So her name is actually Debbie. I just want to point out that they say she goes by other names and other looks and disguises, but she breaks that.
Arrest this movie.
Anyway, shut up. Okay. I mean, to me, I shall shut up. All right. So she gets the job of the nanny. She's very, very manipulative and good at saying what she thinks she's good at adapting.
Mm-hmm.
She tries something, doesn't work, goes a different way. I think can immediately see this couple's over-sexual, so she really dazzles them by sucking things finger.
Just gives them a blowjob.
Gives them a blowjob right in front of everybody.
You see the hand come.
And then, you've got the job. And
Fingernails everywhere.
Okay, gross. And then immediately Fester's like, I need to bone that. I want to bone her like you boned my sister-in-law, dearest brother. Yeah.
He and his brother are talking. He's laying in bed and Fester's laying in bed and Gomez is laying on top of the covers next to him and they're talking about it. And he's like, I think this Debbie woman is sure special. And Gomez is like, oh, I agree. I hope that this is the one for you, my brother.
Having known her for 30 seconds from the behind her head, did not see her face yet.
Yeah.
Right.
And then he's like, what's this? And he pulls a magazine out from under the covers and he opens it and it's a nudie mag. And he's like, Fester, you devil, Mom. And they both laugh. He's jacking off to his mom.
And they both get it. She was something. So they even like incest. Neat.
There's nothing these freaks won't like.
Okay, this is going to get annoying of me, but give them a time to sit down. They've given him another, see, Gomez again, sitting down.
Yeah, I'm not annoyed, love.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But Wednesday figures it out immediately because she's like hiding in the room and can hear Debbie going over her plans as she announces out loud, ooh, I'll take his IRAs and his Roth IRAs and his 401ks and I'll kill him.
You know what? Her and Fester really should have hit it off more because they are exactly each other's same character from the first movie to the second. And they both announced their plans loudly where Wednesday can hear them.
I didn't even think of that.
You didn't?
No. Yes, it's the same. Yeah, someone comes in to con the family.
Right. I mean, you know, they do so much of like, oh, this family's so weird. They're so depraved. But they're the wholesome ones. They're the ones that are always getting conned by the outside world who are the actual depravity, where the actual depravity is.
Yeah. So Debbie's like, I got to get these kids out of the way. This Wednesday's a problem. Pugsley, nothing's going to happen from him. But Wednesday, she knows too much. So she convinces Morticia and Gomez that they need to send them to sleepaway camp. And so they do. They go to sleepaway camp.
Right. Which is not relatable to me because some of us couldn't afford this. No.
So you never went?
I went for 1 week to a youth retreat. So it was completely, like 3 hours of prayer and worship and stuff. And then the rest of the time you walk on tight ropes and catch each other and whatever the hell it is people do at camp. There were no boats. There was no archery. There was no equipment. It was all just like, what can we do with a picnic table? Now what can we do with this rope? Yeah.
Yeah. I did go to a sleepaway camp that was exactly like, this is the only time in my life this has happened. It was exactly like the movies. It was exactly like The Parent Trap and all the other iconic camps that you go stay at with the rowboating and with the crafts.
So it was a $20,000 camp like this one?
I mean, it wasn't quite as nice as those, but it had all the stuff. And was I happy at this camp? Or was I a little Wednesday Addams?
There's no way you were fucking happy. No, you went to Disney World and were a Wednesday.
Well, yes, but I love Disney World. No, camp, I was never more miserable. I thought it was a bloody outrage that I was there the whole time. I'm like, how am I going to get out of this? Please let me call my parents. No, we're not going to let you call your parents. But yes, I was very much. I'm not going to.
Parents?
No, because they knew I just wanted to call them to say, let me please come pick me
up.
up.
That's a great reason to want to fucking call your parents. That's fucking Horrifying and
This
scary.
was Camp Abbey, north of Covington, Louisiana, run by the, Catholic Church.
Okay. Super cool. It's real chill.
Camp for boys. But girls had their own camp during different weeks. So it wasn't just boys. But
so they left their underwear behind.
This
You guys
special,
sniffed them.
Yeah, man. We raided, we sniffed.
You raided something that wasn't there?
Yeah.
Idiot. That's not even how you raid.
So yeah.
Raider of the Lost Dork. All right, good.
There's lots of chanting at this camp. When you walk from, this place to this place, you need to sing very happily about what you're going to do. We are going to boat, going to boat, going to boat. And when you went into the mess hall, which of course they called it, you're supposed to chant, "We want slop."
Oh, I do remember you telling me this. And I hate the way you say the word slop. It's like the P has a dick. Slop. I don't know. I just feel like you're fucking me with the P in that word.
We want slop. And
okay.
and I refused to chant it. That was my most Wednesday. I'm not going to, no, it's disrespectful to the workers there.
And I'm not going to eat slop.
This camp, Camp Chippewa.
Chef's kiss of a camp.
Yes, run by...
Can I just say, though, I never noticed of course I noticed all the blondes. Of course I noticed that the people who did not fit in were the outcasts very, very clearly. I did not realize they make such on-the-nose jokes about the privilege you have to afford this kind of camp.
Yeah, it's
never
like the
noticed
slogan.
That.
It's like a camp for privileged kids.
Right. Don't we just hate that? I love their jumps.
So Wednesday's drinking that is your mug.
What's on my mug. That exact shot. That's how you know this is not a Wednesday show mug. This is a Addams Family Values
important
mug.
Distinction. Yes.
I made sure when I Googled inside of Amazon, because you can Google inside of Amazon, and that is what I typed in. Thank you.
This is Peter McNichol and Christine Baranski, who are wonderful in a cast of amazing people. I liked it right away. You're like, wait, this is some kind of Nazi camp.
You went Nazi. I didn't go Nazi. I just went.
You mean when they have
people are a nightmare?
You have like the scene where they have the attack dogs in the watchtower and the sirens, and the kids are trying to climb over the fence. And
I didn't go to camp, man.
Out.
That seems like camp to me. Every camp movie I've ever seen, there's people trying to get out. Heavyweights. This
with
one
a big dog and a watchtower and sirens.
All right. How else do you keep the kids? I don't know.
But it's both broad and it's called Camp Chippewa, and that's literally an indigenous tribe. But this is a white children camp, and it's just Camp Chippewa. Let's be little Chippewas here, right. And it's very exclusive. You have to be very special to get in. And then later they literally separate the good kids from the ones who aren't so good. And the ones who aren't so good are literally either non-white or have some sort of disability.
The ones you wouldn't put on the pamphlet.
Right. And then just the enforced positivity. And then we meet the Crumb.
Is that what we call him?
That's what I call him, the Crumb.
All right. Yeah. Hey, Crumb.
Yeah. David Krumholtz as Joel, who becomes Wednesday's love interest. It's I did, watching this movie a second time, making my little notes. Mm-hmm. I did think, Wednesday, a little bit more of you, and I'd be done with you.
Like a whole show?
Yes.
Yeah.
You're exhausting. I mean, yes. I watched a few episodes of Daria recently.
Okay.
And it occurred to me, when you're a child, when you're a teenager, you watch Daria. Everyone does.
Sure.
No matter what age they are. It's not a very specific thing for people our age. And you're like, I'm like Daria. And in junior high, I was literally called Dario because I'm just like, I don't fucking care.
Yeah, I grasped.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it's just wish fulfillment. It's this person who's so cool, who's above everything, and literally always has the most witty insult rejoinder to be deployed at the perfect time. And then you watch it as an adult and you're like, Daria's the villain of this show.
Can't you just go with the fucking flow, Daria? God damn it.
You just start to feel bad for all the other people and all the people she's putting down. Yeah. Part of life is growing up. Part of growing up is realizing we don't want to be Wednesdays. You don't want to be a Wednesday your whole life.
Right. Then nothing would get done.
Nothing would get done. But, Mercedes McNabb is the actress who plays Amanda. She's very, very good as a little villainous
yes.
girl.
And she's in both movies.
Yep. she plays the Girl Scout for,
Right.
one scene.
And that energy is so easy to pick up on. As soon as we were watching the first one, I was like, oh my God, it's the girl from the second one.
Well, I mean, yeah, think of the people who made the movie. Like, we got to get this kid back.
Right. Privileged lightning in a bottle.
Yeah.
An Evian bottle.
So
now we're back at the home. What's going on? Fester is very creepily looking at Debbie, doing everything that she's doing with the one child that's at home. What a brilliant nanny move. I know I'm here to watch the children. Can you get rid of all the ones that walk? Thank you so much. I'll just watch this baby. And Debbie, that's exactly what she wanted, was for him to notice. She's very overly sexual with everything. And then they go and have an iconic dinner on an underground cave, which I always assumed was just under their house, but I've got no reason to think that, except for that under their house there's caves.
I didn't notice that it was a weird restaurant until the second time. Like, oh, this restaurant's weird. It's in a cave of some sort.
Okay.
But you know what I like? I like that just for screen. I mean, this is a good way to do a sequel. You pick up on a thread from the earlier movie and just expand on that. Like the earlier movie has Christopher Lloyd's character becoming well known for being this famous heir, right?
Christopher Lloyd's character,
Fester, when he takes over the house and gets the rest of the family disinherited. So suddenly he's a little famous. He's appearing on magazines, and now this movie doesn't really point it out, but
yeah, no, you're
Joan
right.
Cusack is like, I saw all those magazine articles, and I'm going to do something about it.
I did not follow that thread. Okay.
He's going to use his brother to help him woo Debbie, and they go on a little double date.
Okay.
Then there's a very, very extended, little exhausting dance sequence between
It's a lot.
Morticia and Gomez. It ends with all the champagne bottles ejaculating in the restaurant, because dancing is like sex for these people.
What? That's a dick move from Gomez. Like, he knows he's an amazing suave dancer. If you were trying to make Fester look good, why would you then go do the sexiest, coolest fucking dance ever in front of the girl?
Because he can't help it. He's a man of passion.
Well, he's really reliving the past, because this is exactly what he did with Flora and Fauna.
That's true.
Yes, he's always trying. He wants good things for his brother, but he does not want to not be the sexy one.
Well, nobody's perfect.
That son of a bitch. Okay. All right. So then, all right. Well, now this is one date, and they go to, Debbie and Fester are in the cemetery, and she says she's a virgin, says she loves him, says all this, love bombing him, of course, and he immediately proposes. But you need a ring, and you're in a pinch, and so they dig up. They go inside to say, look, we're engaged. And then Morticia and Gomez say, that ring, it's Mama's. And then Debbie's like, shovel, dug up that bitch. Anyway.
But she also realizes I can use my sexuality as a weapon.
It's her move. Well, sexuality gets the man, then it keeps the man.
It will work much more effectively on this man than any other in the past, because he's a virgin.
He's a virgin.
I feel pretty bad for Fester.
Okay. You're identifying? All right.
Yeah, I was identifying. Because I think Christopher Lloyd's so great in this, and in Back to the Future 3. One reason I really like that movie is it gives him a romance with Mary Steenburgen, and it's very sweet, and he gets to just like play it straight, like non-comedic. And you realize like he would be a great romantic lead. And he kind of, you do pick up on the yearning that he feels here.
Oh,
even in a very silly role.
Oh yeah. He's a good actor. I mean, yeah, he's a great little hostage.
Do Morticia and Gomez suspect anything like at any point?
I feel like Morticia, just like Wednesday, these intuitive women, you can only pass it down to the daughter if you're a mother with intuition.
Sure.
They're always quicker and faster in noticing these things. I don't know. I mean, she definitely flips the script. She flips a switch with how nice she is as soon as she's got a proposal and is engaged. So, I mean, I feel like everything starts to crack and be revealed immediately. But, what are you going to do? Your brother's in love. All right. Now we go back to the camp, and the mail is amazingly fast to this camp, because Wednesday and Pugsley find out that their uncle's engaged, and Wednesday knew this would happen. That's why they got rid of the kids to begin with, because Wednesday knew what that trollop was up to. And the very nosy camp counselor asks, "What's wrong?" And then she says that her uncle's getting married to the nanny.
Mhm.
And the privileged, horrible Amanda says, "To the help, I'd kill myself."
It's so good.
It's pretty good.
We're getting more of a sense of this camp. This is just a fascist training camp, and maybe like a gay conversion camp too. Because if you're sort of expressing any nonconformity, we're going to send you to the Harmony Hut, where
You think people become ungay in this gay ass hut? Look at it.
Well, do you think people become ungay at conversion camp?
I don't know what conversion camp looks like. I know what this camp looked like. So all they do is give them. Okay, you're just saying it's a metaphor. All right, fine. Right. Yeah, they put them in the torturous place until they come out and fall in line. Say what we want you to say.
Do you remember when Homer travels through time with the toaster?
No.
Treehouse of Horror 5?
I don't watch those. You know, I don't like to watch the
that's right.
episodes. I don't like to watch the episodes of animated series that I like that change the complete tone and place in roles. I don't like it. I don't
You're
watch
bad. You're a bad person. That's a bad opinion.
I don't watch the Bob's Burgers ones that do that either, where they completely go into another story or they look different. I hate it.
I don't like the Simpsons Halloween episodes. Only an Addams would say something so twisted. Well, anyway, in one iteration of the future that Homer creates, Ned Flanders is running the world, and it's a totalitarian like dictatorship where everybody has to dress like him and smile all the time and say Oakley Dokley and have. Anyway, that's what this camp is.
Like Pleasantville.
It's like Pleasantville,
which Matt would like. So you would love a totalitarian.
I just want people to keep things to themselves and not bother me.
How pleasant.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then Joel gets sent to the Harmony Hut too because he was reading. He's reading a book.
And then he gets hit.
And he has allergies.
Oh yeah. And then the camp counselor that hits him with the book, right? Or doesn't he hit him? He just No. The camp counselor hits children in the play when they're not being, they're not fulfilling his vision. That's later. I fucking love it. But they do snatch the book out of his hand or something kind of violent.
He's reading Stephen Hawking, and they force him into, and then he sees a Michael Jackson poster and he freaks out. The scariest thing of all.
Which is odd. I mean, I get it.
Well, so yeah, they're miserable at camp. They're going to try to escape. They're like me at age 14 when I was too old to be at Camp Abbey. If I have a critique of this movie, if I had one, which, and I do, is that I think that it kind of is just two movies that they're just cutting between. Mm-hmm. And you want them to be more linked both in how they affect each other. If you just, it just feels like a sitcom, like with an A story and a B story, where one of the stories I find much more interesting than the other story.
Which one?
The camp.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I love anything about a camp, honestly.
And that it's like filmed like it's heavyweights or something, like it's a silly camp, but it's a literal Nazi camp.
I mean, look at the soldier standing right next behind the woman. Yeah. That is a Nazi if I've ever seen one.
Punished. Yeah. But Wednesday, she's getting closer to Joel, and she even says, "I have a day pass to get out of here for my uncle's wedding. You want to come as my date?"
A day pass is also, she says I have a pass. A day pass is what they give you in jail or prison.
Yeah. So then there's the wedding scene where they literally cook a cake girl alive and then say, "C'est la vie. Sometimes we killed people."
You mean the bachelor scene? Bachelor party, not a wedding scene.
Yeah, but the wedding follows. And
okay.
Yeah. And we have cousin It is the officiant. And they're playing, Lurch is playing the organ, the wedding march interspersed with a da-na-na-na. It's funny.
Mm-hmm.
And then they go on their honeymoon to Waikiki. And Debbie tries to kill Fester in a bathtub with a radio, just like the Alkaline Trio song.
Well, and this is my point, that all the things that people try to do that are violent from the outside world to an Addams, they just use their superpowers.
It's just a pratfall.
Yay!
Yes, I love that. He's like, "Oh, we're doing fun, sexy things, aren't we?"
Right. Oh, but then she's all annoyed when she gets out, when they're, he's following her back out of the bathroom, and it's like, that was an accident. I know.
So they're about to so she fails to kill him.
Right.
And maybe
what a lazy killer this is.
I know.
Like, you just try one time and then you're going to completely bomb a mansion. That's your second
This is
chance?
my question. She decides at this point, okay, I guess I'm not going to be able to kill him. So here, you must agree never to see your family again. But I love my family. And it's like, had more than you love this. And then Dick goes in and he's like, I agree.
I thought you had a question.
Yeah, my question here is, does she not plan to kill him anymore? Like, why does she need him to do this?
I'm really not. I have no idea why this completely changes her plan. It seems like access to the money would have already existed.
Mm-hmm.
I completely don't know.
Keep him happy and distracted. Let him continue to hang out with the family and plot your next move.
Right, and you don't seem to like hanging around him. So I guess she just knows that Wednesday knows about her. She can't have him over on Wednesday. Wednesday's only in camp for so long. Idiot.
Yeah, okay. Oh, and then they kill a bald eagle at camp. And they make a baby drink vodka. See, they kill this bald eagle because this movie's about America. And it's about colonialism and plunder.
And the things we hold sacred that are kind of silly when you think of the things we don't hold sacred.
Right.
Now we're on to what their life is like after the wedding. They purchase a mansion in record time, and Debbie gets immediately going to move in all these expensive things she's acquired. I don't know how. And Fester is in a white linen suit. His hair is like little Lord Fauntleroy, and yeah, it's just like the first movie where he's dressed as a normal person, kind of. And I mean, him with hair is just.
She's trying to make him more presentable.
It's like a Roomba with hair. It's fucking weird.
Why is she trying to make him more presentable? I don't know.
She's being seen with him. And to make sure that he knows that he's not doing anything right. She's isolating him. She's gaslighting him. She's doing all the abusive things. She'd be a fabulous cult leader.
Would you call her an abuser?
Are you serious right now?
No. So and Gomez, he's despondent. It is sad. He's like, why doesn't my brother want to see me anymore? What did I do? I want to hear it from him.
It's very triggering. He went 20 years wondering why his brother didn't see him anymore and didn't realize, he had amnesia. Wasn't choosing to not come around.
Mm-hmm.
This is a convenient card game that I'll tell you about. Okay, so now we're back at camp. You're right. This really is like two movies. And the outcast kids, the trio we love, are trading murderers, killers, and psychos trading cards. And I don't know really what the purpose of this is, to just say, that's her, that's Debbie. See, I told you she was a psycho.
Whereas Wednesday had suspicions, now she knows.
Oh, this confirms.
You have a rap sheet. You've done it before, and you're doing it again to my uncle. Sure.
And then this is where we find out that they're going to put on a production at the end of the summer. For some reason, it's the first Thanksgiving. It's a weird fucking thing to do in the summertime.
It is, and it's disorienting because you're like, it's a Thanksgiving pageant in the summer at a summer. Just wires crossing. Yes.
No like. But I do love the play.
Oh, it's
Gary's
fantastic. I love when he says, he's announcing who all the pilgrims are going to be. And he's like, and the pilgrims are going to be Lily, Jennifer, Tiffany, Missy, Michelle, Melissa. And it was like, they opened a baby book name from
that year. We're just like top 5 names right now.
I think that at the time people would have been like, oh, these weirdo new names like Melissa and Tiffany.
You do? These were all different names of my friends at the time of me watching this movie.
So yes, maybe it would have to be earlier than that. But it's like how, I don't know, if it were today, it would be like Brooklyn and Braxley.
Sure, right.
But more than that, these are just white names.
The whitest.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And then they're like, all right, and the Indians are going to be Consuela, and it's panning over the non-white kids and the disabled kids, and they can't even pronounce Consuela, and they can't pronounce Jamal.
Right. Jamal.
Yeah. Yeah. And who even cares? So the non-conforming kids, their punishment is they have to be Indians. They have to be the
ones who were plundered. I guess. I mean, we really don't know what the ending of the play was going to be. Do they really get punished? Maybe it would have been fine. But they need to be the outcasts. They need to be the ones without money.
So Debbie is keeping Fester away from his family. Classic abusive behavior.
I already said that. Thank you.
I'm just building on your point.
You said my exact point. So no, you're just copying me. You're being copycat.
They go to the police, and Nathan Lane is the police officer for some reason. And there's this wonderful Coke machine in the police station. I wrote down, what a Coke machine.
Oh, God, was it? I wrote it down too.
Really? It's like, oh, yes, I'm there.
Fantastic Coke machine. I didn't realize he was drinking Pepto-Bismol, but now I realize that.
Pepto-Bismol is a classic prop for a cop.
A prop cop? A cop prop.
Yep.
Look at Christina Ricci with her acne. They did good makeup on this movie. The close-up, though, you can't hide it.
The kids, again, we're just flopping back and forth. And as I was making my outline, I'm like, should I just do all the camp stuff in a row and then do all the home stuff in a row? But yeah, that's just the way the movie's edited. So they really are forced into conversion therapy. They're forced into the Harmony Hut where they have to watch the Little Mermaid and the Brady Bunch and The Sound of Music. And they come out and they pretend it works. They're not gay. And now she smiles.
But it seems like the hardest thing ever to do to do such a gradual progression of a smile for so long. Like how you don't instantly go. It's a talented little moment, I find.
She's good.
Some good face muscle work there.
You can actually tell it's painful. I guess if there's a thematic link between these two plots, it's like the baby back at home is turning blonde. And this is like a response to his family being separated from Uncle Fester and from his brother and sister, I guess. But he's basically becoming more like the right kind of child at the camp.
Without the people around him, he's acclimating. So now we smash cut to it's time to put on the play with the best musical number of any movie ever, I'll say. I'm just kidding. But I do love the turkey song very, very much.
Eat us.
No, the eat May! And then all the parents look at each other like, what the fuck? Anyway, this is Pugly's moment to shine. They do that. And then they go to Wednesday's moment with the Pilgrims and with Amanda in Time for Revenge. And so she's acting like she's going to stick to the script, but then she reveals, no, we've come to rape and murder everyone here. They literally tie them up and spin them on a spit. They use real fire.
They set off bombs, apparently.
Right. They try to burn Amanda at the stake. They flip over bleachers somehow and hurt parents.
With no, like, cutting away or no indication that, like, it's not for real. Although you do see Amanda later in the movie still alive when she's in the plane with her parents.
Yeah. But there's no moment where
it's
they're
not
like,
being undercut
okay,
while it's happening.
Right.
No, they're really killing these people.
Well, okay, but they show the two camp directors tied together on one giant spit, and they are roasting them over a fire.
Yeah, they're dead.
So that
they're eating.
They really do it in front of you.
Yep.
And then they just end the scene.
It's like 5 seconds away from being a John Waters comedy, like X-rated.
Is someone gonna shit on the stage? Is that gonna
and
happen?
Then eat it? Yeah.
Right.
Just want to note, Wednesday says she's playing Pocahontas, a Chippewa native. Pocahontas was not Chippewa; she was Powhatan.
So now we go back to what's Fester and Debbie up to. He is wearing the most atrocious clothes ever, and now he's got a beautiful little heart apron on because he's cooking a meatloaf for their 3-week anniversary. And all this is just a ruse for Debbie to be able to give him a giant present that is actually a bomb. And she's like, okay, well, I've got to go run an errand. Don't peek at your present. And then he goes and he shakes it.
It's going to be so hard not to think about it.
Okay. Just a little peek. And then he picks it up and he guesses 2 things. Then he says, it's a bomb. And then she goes, no! Or I don't know what she says, but she's like, fuck you, Fester. And then she goes to a bar and sings Macho Man with some sailors. That's what happens there. And then, wouldn't you know it, it was a bomb. The whole house blows up, and she's practicing her officer. And my husband was in that. And then he just comes walking out because that's his jam. Things blow up a lot at the Addams house. And look, I've still got the meatloaf. And then she reveals to him that, like,
so she
I fucking hate you.
Just takes out a gun and is like, I'm just going to kill you then.
Oh, right, there's a gun. Oh, right.
Because you suck and
the world's biggest gun.
Don't you love me?
Not since Who Framed Roger Rabbit have I seen a gun that big.
It's quite a
it
piece.
Is huge.
But Thing, the hand.
Ah, yes.
Comes in and can drive. And
notably not a foot and a hand, just a hand.
And he's doing both. He's steering in and pedaling. And so he saves the day. There's a car chase and yeah, he takes Fester back to the home where all the Addamses are reunited because the kids have escaped from summer camp after after their massacre, and everyone's back. The one happy Addams family, and then Joan Cusack shows up. I'm here to electrocute all of you. Yeah.
It's handy that they had 7 electric chairs.
Yes. Do you think this was a Simpsons reference?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay.
Is it a Treehouse of Horrors?
No. This is to the 4th episode of the series. There's No Disgrace Like Home. Very famous scene where they're in therapy and they get hooked up to shock apparatuses, and they can shock each other to learn how to like communicate with each other, but they instead just use it to torture each other.
Yeah, sure.
All right, good. Well, she
Debbie's hairs never look better than when she gets real upset.
Yes. I mean, it's
very Death Becomes Her. Look at this makeup.
She's very good and kind of sexy.
You can say it.
No.
Okay.
I shouldn't.
Oh.
This is when Debbie decides to give them her villainous monologue and literally puts on a slideshow, delivers a PowerPoint presentation. Why I'm Evil by Debbie Jelinski.
Right. And this is when she reveals that she's never gone by any other name and that is her birth name.
Yeah.
So the opening little, anyway, plot hole.
You're not getting out of movie jail, Barry Sonnenfeld. Sorry, Debbie, no mercy. It's the best delivery of all time. I mean, Oscar right there. I'm throwing an Oscar at the screen. Her motivation is she wanted even nicer things and her parents wouldn't give them to her. She wanted a ballerina Barbie. What did they give her? A Malibu Barbie. I was a ballerina.
Right. Yes. Wow. Okay. You're going to have sex dreams about her, aren't you? That's going to make me very uncomfortable.
You could, if you wanted to get really deep, you could say Debbie is the natural conclusion of the plunder from natives, build our own, seize their land, build our own country with good looking blonde people who just do this. Don't I ache and yearn and shop? It's the only reason to exist.
Right. You've given me so much that there's nothing else to really want except for more and the most. People who have lots of money often don't feel like, yes, I've achieved, yay. They just set their sight on a club that's a notch higher and they need to be the richest. And then when you are the second richest person, all you think about is how you're not the richest person.
Bullshit that you're not.
It's all so meaningless. But family, that's where the value is. Yeah. Values?
That's why they called it this.
I know it.
So the baby saves them.
And the baby's a trans person. Look, drag. That's a mustache on a woman, baby. The baby's a woman.
J.K. Rowling's not happy about that.
No. Look at this shot. Look at this shot. Look at, no one's ever been electrocuted that way. The hair. Applause to the makeup artist here.
Better electrocution, her or Marv in Home Alone 2? He turns into a skeleton, so it might be Marv.
Yeah, the shrieking is better for Marv. The look is better for Debbie.
So
the ending is the most.
It's a happy ending.
Me. Okay, yeah, it's happy, except for Wednesday lets you know. No. There's no. There shan't be a love affair like Gomez and Morticia. I am still Wednesday. I am different from my mother. I rather scare you to death.
Yeah, Joel is kind of like, well, I'll just literally recreate your dad. Right. I'll say Karamia. I'll put on his mustache. But that's not what she wants.
Right. Like he's like, you're weird. I don't know what you like. I know I love all of it. And I'm just this dork. So I'll just be your dad. Isn't that hot?
It is nice that he says you're the weirdest person I've ever known. But he still loves her.
Right. Well, that's the reason. Yeah. How nice.
And then she tries to kill him, maybe?
Yeah.
Okay.
But maybe it's a test. Like, well, if you can survive this, I guess we can get married as children.
Yeah. Well,
who knows? They ended there.
Twisted family would do it. It'd be this one.
Yeah, why not? Child brides are hot.
Yes.
When am I allowed to talk?
Go ahead.
Oh, okay. All right. Final thoughts. I am so excited that I have amazing taste. I'm glad I even like the first one a lot. The second one is superior, I do admit. I give it a 4. I'm really stingy with these stars. I haven't gone over a 4 yet. I'm a star stinge.
4.5 for me.
Oh, what? Matt!
Near
Oh.
masterpiece. I've watched it twice in 2 days. It has, a movie doesn't have to be perfect. Some of the best movies ever made have giant flaws. And I think that I don't want the camp stuff to not exist because it's the best part of the movie, but it is kind of just two separate movies moving in parallel until they get smashed together at the end.
Right.
But, and maybe the parents get sidelined. I would like more Angelica Houston and Raul Julia. They're so good, but they have the first movie. So I don't know. It's great. I'm so glad we watched both of these movies, but especially this one. I've said this before. I'm just grateful that these movies exist, that they were allowed to be as weird and have the subversion that they had, and that they were PG rated and families ate them up and still do to this day. I'm glad that our 13-year-old watched it and just loved it. Both of them, devoured them.
Felt seen by this movie. These are the words of the kid. I loved the movie a lot, just as much as the first one, and I thought that a lot of it was a metaphor for gay and trans people, because with the kid and all the basically white girly girls and strong boy camp, there's no punctuation here, that were very othered because they were outside of gender norms, as well as how they cared for minorities, and with the other characters, the whole family is othered. I also love that the mother was listing all the jobs the baby could have. It was all jobs parents want their kids to have. I have no idea what she's talking about here. Do you? I have no idea. I loved Gomez and said, no kid of mine. I have no idea. This is intelligible. But anyway, my kid liked it, felt seen, the exact kind of humor. Yay.
Well,
and loved that there's a matriarch, that gender roles are reversed in the entire movie. The women are always powerful, including Debbie, including there's one other example and I can't think of it. Oh, the mother from the first one.
Yeah. It's like X-Men, where it's like, this is a broad, you can read it and see it as a representation of any kind of marginalized community, because it really is just about, I'm different. I feel different. I feel other. And that will always be powerful. It will always be powerful. I don't know.
Okay. I do have, can I now say my thank yous?
Sure.
Is this that moment? All right. Well, I've been doing a lot to try to get this podcast out there. Thank you if you've actually gotten to the end of it. You're a trooper. I was doing a lot on YouTube, still am, but now I've found my groove and film talk on the TikTok. And I'm sorry, don't groan over there. And it is awkward as a 40-year-old, 39, but who's counting? To start a social media regiment on something that's like so for youngins and on something that's so for young people anyway. But I'm glad that it has been working out, and there's been some very welcoming people and really nice people, and so I just want to call them out. That would be Cinematic Joshua, Drooby Dooby movie, and Logan Priestley. So please, if you're on TikTok, please go follow these people. They're very nice. They will guide you in the land of talk.
Thank you. And we found that a lot of people like that there's a woman talking about movies.
Who?
You.
I don't know if they like it,
well,
but it's new.
It is a largely male-dominated space.
There
just
are several
movie discussion.
Several women I'm following as well, but it is very male. Yeah. I love you. Bye.
Wait, no.
No, damn. Oh, you got to do your outro shit.
Yeah. But God, I was going to say one other thing. God damn it.
Oh, Matt.
Yeah. Well, Lacey's been making those very, very funny short videos, taking the clips from our podcast and animating them in a very specific style. That's very funny. You've been doing a great job. You can watch those on YouTube or on TikTok. Otherwise, we're on Twitter at Load-Bearing Pod, Instagram Load-Bearing Beams, and the music on Load-Bearing Beams is by my band Rural Route 9, including the song you're hearing right now. You can find our music on Spotify and in the other places too, like Apple Music and YouTube. Okay. And the Amazon Music Store.
Okay.
Google Play.
Yay.
TuneIn. Tidal.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
And hey, why not follow me on Letterboxd?
Yes,
Matt
actually,
Stokes 9. You can see what I'm watching. Watching
It's-
lots of horror flicks.
you're in good company, my friend. But yeah, you rate things, and people care about that. So if you
Yep.
care, visit.
Thank you.
Okay, I love you. Bye.
3, 4. Everybody, love Americans, love